dice. You never know if it could change your life. Take a chance, you're neither wrong or right. You never know if you don't roll them dice. You better roll them dice.
Hello everyone. My name is Rob. I'm a Dungeon Master. And this is Dungeon Master of None. Matt, who are you?
I'm Matt. I'm Matt. I'm also a Dungeon Master, and this is also Dungeon Master of None. It's been a hot second. We were busy. We decided to do a reboot of the podcast. We felt like it was getting a little stale, so we're going rebooting. Is it going to be dark and gritty? Is there going to be cuss words this time?
No. I think we should appeal to a more genteel audience. I think that our radical approach to dungeon mastering has turned off some people. So This is now Dungeon Master America, and you and I are the fine centrist,
data-driven, means-tested dungeon mastering.
That's right. We are going to make sure that only the right people have access to D&D, and none of the wrong people have access.
Before we want to walk back a previous statement, we've said Dungeons & Dragons role-playing games are for everyone, right? They're for everyone who can, one, afford it, and two...
What we want is for everyone to have access to Dungeons & Dragons.
Access. Right.
Not for all, just access. Choice, right? Different levels. So we are introducing a Dungeons & Dragons Bronze plan, followed by a Dungeons & Dragons Silver plan, and of course a Gold and Platinum plan based on your ability and desire to pay. We have a package for everybody. Just whatever sounds good to you.
I mean, we've taken a lot of tips from the healthcare industry, right? Now I'm imagining all these monsters, Etna, Cigna, they're basically evil gods, right? Those are good names for evil gods in your campaign.
Oh, for sure. Etna, Cigna,
the all-consuming.
Kaiser Permanente is a great name for some kind of, king of all healthcare gods. Anyway,
we're very sick.
Our
podcast is sick.
Please help us. Our podcast is dying. Yeah. So there was a hurricane. Some things happened. We're back now. We're going to try
tropical depression.
Tropical. That's right. It wasn't actually a real hurricane. We're gonna get back on track. Yeah.
We've reached a really cool point where tropical depressions own us so hard.
So hard.
On the day of the international climate strike, I was too owned by climate change to go strike.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about Dungeons & Dragons. We have 3 new sets of subclasses since we've last talked from Unearthed Arcana. We've got some letters. We've got some magic items.
Arcana, that's right. Yeah. We have some pretty exciting things to take a look at. Yeah, let's start with our Unearthed Arcana. Matt?
It's been a while since D&D has refreshed its subclasses. I'm excited to get back on this pointless subclass building train.
Bard and Paladin. Yeah, let's talk some subclasses.
So there's 2 new subclasses, one for the Bard and one for the Paladin. The Bard one is, I'm interested for your take on this, it's an eloquence Bard. It's a Bard that speaks at people.
Well, you know that I love this, right? You know that this is my favorite.
You were just talking about this
style
right before it came out.
Of Bard. However, you may be surprised to find that I don't necessarily love this. And there are some things that I like about this.
Here's the problem with building subclasses. The Bard at 3rd level gets an ability that is useful usually in combat and for making all kinds of rolls. The Bard of Eloquence's first feature is universal speech, which I kind of like. You can talk to any creature, right?
Yeah.
But
this is also an ability that is duplicated by comprehend languages, a second level spell, which at the time that you get it is useful, but this ability only becomes less and less helpful as time. In fact, it gets very useless as time goes on, whereas other 3rd level abilities and incomparable Bard colleges remain useful and get more useful as the class progresses.
One thing you said isn't quite accurate. this feature works on creatures that don't speak languages, which comprehend languages or tongues does not, right?
That's
so
true.
It is more useful, but I'm looking at this as a dungeon master. Do you want your players to be able to talk and be really good at reasoning with every single creature?
Absolutely not. I already have to spend too much time with my druids talking to grass and houseplants. This is...
I know, it's just like...
This is just not... it is a neat feature. I can only see this having limited use. And either to annoy the crap out of your dungeon master, or in a specific instance where tongues or comprehend languages might be just as good. I do like soothing words. It's not very interesting, but Calm Emotions is an interesting spell, and I like it, and so giving it as a per charisma ability to the Bard of Eloquence, I'm for. Let me tell you about my least favorite ability, Matt. Since we're just about there.
Is it the ability that should have been called Facts Don't Care About Your Feelings?
So, Wizards has given the College of Eloquence the ability to own your opponents with facts and logic.
Undeniable Logic, the sixth level feature.
College of Eloquence feature is called Undeniable Logic. You can spin words laced with magic into a knot of reasoning that can be encouraging or impossible to follow. I feel like this should have been called almost anything but what it was actually called. I will never be able to take this seriously. I can only ever see this being taken by an absolute pain-in-the-ass bard who wants to logic his opponents into submission and forcing me into having tedious arguments as NPCs about, the truth of things.
You could have called this anything else. You could have called it searing and soothing words or something, to borrow a title. Now, I actually mechanically kind of like this one. You can basically hurt people with your words or heal people with your words.
Yeah.
Farther away. It makes it a better healing bard, which I love.
Mechanically, it's good. The damage is not great, but it has great combo potential for setting up with a save or die or save or suck spell. And the same, it's got a lot of utility, which I do like. I just wish it were not called Undeniable Logic. But yeah, I would have to have other colleges pulled up. I think they're gonna be more useful per use of Bardic Inspiration. But I like this, and I like the rider of the disadvantage or advantage on saving throws. As we've talked about a lot, options are good, and this is a great option because you can both do damage and inflict a malice upon your opponent, or do a small amount of healing and and grant a bonus to one of your allies. It gives you a lot to do with Bardic Inspiration. The problem the problem with Bardic Inspiration, though, is that it's almost always best just to use it as the base Bard class intends. And I love all these other options. I just find that in most games they don't really get used.
The thing is, if you wanted to play a bard who is an orator, take any of the other bard classes and say, anytime I'm performing oration, right?
Yeah.
Sadly, that is the case.
Yeah. I do like the 14th level feature because it allows you to use Bardic Inspiration conditionally on your whole team, which is pretty neat. I think this is a unique ability that doesn't have a lot of... This is a new design space for Wizards, and I like it.
Here's the problem is the good abilities are higher level.
Yeah.
The 2 third level abilities, which are the most important ones for most players and what you should consider as the Dungeon Master, unless you're starting a high level campaign, just suck.
Yeah,
they're
not great.
Uninspiring, or they're just not good.
And also, I think this is one of the things that we complain about constantly is that Wizards wants to give us a direct, approved by the crunch way to play a bard, an orator bard, but I would just say that your instrument is oration, and that's a problem with the way the game is constructed, in that you have to have an instrument, the rules as written. So this just, yeah.
But Rob, there plucking at the heartstrings to appeal to the emotions of entire audiences. Get it?
This also steps on the College of Glamour, which is also a, manipulate your emotions type of bard.
One's inspiring, one's sneaky.
Yeah.
This could be redone.
I like the idea. I'm a fan. The third level abilities are not great, and undeniable logic is just setting yourself up for some upsetting conversations with your players. All right,
the Paladin subclass is...
Let's talk about the Oath of the Bro. I'm so excited for...
Chad Paladin.
Chad
2.0.
Paladin.
What, Rob, what if we took the chattiest class and we added a little more Chad?
What if we wanted to make it possible to be Logan Paul the Paladin? Because that's what's happened here. Yeah, so...
I love the tenets, right? Paladins get sort of fun flavor tenets, and the tenets are basically like inspirational Instagram things,
they
right?
really are.
Actions over words. Hey, find out who your real friends are.
Tests. Embrace your destiny, bro. Listen, is just...
I want to play a Paladin like this who never fails, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, he or she fails many rolls, but, bro... They didn't fail. That was
Did it
just
really fail?
Test.
Or was I just succeeding in a different way?
Did I just learn? I learned something about myself.
This is
the fact that I got speared by 30 goblins today.
This is the Instagram influencer of paladins. I love hone the body. Like raw stone, your body must be worked so its potential can be realized. I do think this is actually kind of funny.
Do you lift?
I think this is kind of funny because it would be very amusing to play an athlete, bodybuilder paladin, just like an absolute dunderhead. But it also, I can see this just being a huge pain in the ass. Their channel divinity is Peerless Athlete. You can use it to augment your athleticism with divine favor and get a bonus on athletics and acrobatics checks.
The other ability, the slightly supposedly more useful in combat one, Legendary Strike. Use Channel Divinity as a bonus action to guide your attacks for 1 minute. Your weapon attacks score a critical hit on a roll of a 19 or 20, so you basically get Keen Edge. The problem with that is you're oftentimes pretty likely, statistically, to use this and gain no benefit.
Yeah.
Which feels bad, man.
Feels bad, man. The thing is, it looks so. I like.
Why are we now talking only in?
I have
shitty internet memes because of this.
Matt, I am straight up not having a good time, bro, and it's because of Oath of Heroism. Well, so the idea behind this is, I think they're the Mighty Deed, the 7th level feature, gives you the ability to. This is kind of neat. Grant hit points or frighten enemies every time you score a critical hit or reduce a creature to 0 hit points.
It's almost like they designed this one after the 6th level Bard of Eloquence ability. They're like, no, what if we made a thing where you can either use your thing to inflict a malice or give a bonus? Perfect.
Yeah, and
Let's do that again.
I love options, and it seems like they're building this to be a sort of like a crit fishing build, right? You can get crits on 19s or 20s, and every time you crit, you can do a thing. But, as you have correctly pointed out, you're not going to roll a 19 or 20 most of the time. And
10% of the time.
For better or worse, there's no more keen weapon ability. You can't really stack critical bonus the way you could in 3.5 or Pathfinder.
God, remember when you could crit on a 13 through 20 with like some ancient Egyptian weapon, 4 feats and a spell?
I remember at level 1, you could easily crit on a 15 to 20 if you took the right feats and used the right weapon. Bring out that kukri and have a good time. Anyway, sure, okay, that was not the kind of math that Wizards wants to do in 5th edition, but the thing is, this doesn't work, right? So you build this character to do all of these things, and you're only gonna get to do it not very often, Again, I don't know, let's say you dual wield and you cast your Oath of Heroism, or you cast your Channel Divinity, and you're, I don't know, you crit every now and then, and you bring an enemy down to 0 every now and then, but you're just not going to get that much use out of it. It doesn't feel very heroic, Matt.
Taking a step back, right? I feel like Wizards on their new subclasses only, really gets a base hit on flavor about 50% of the time. But I have to say, these two on flavor, right, the characters that are spinning out of my head, right, an orator bard is perfect. And I love the idea of a paladin, backing away from Instagram success bro for a second, who's just like, you're a destined hero, right? Yeah. If you're ever wanting to be like, hey, I was supposed to be the main character, right? There's some fun things you can do with that in a party of game. This is a perfect subclass. And it's flavor-wise, these are both here.
And I can definitely think of lots of times when I would love to have a little, like, I'm going to do, like, a running jump or, like, some cool acrobatics and I'm the hero. I mean, I can totally see some characters being built. And you've made a good point here that is that generally Wizards has pretty good mechanics, but garbage flavor. And the flavor is good for these. I can see a lot of fun characters being built out of both of these subclasses.
These are good. I think if you're a dungeon master, I would let either one of these in my game, right? Keeping in mind that some of the abilities are not as useful. So.
I would tell any bard that does the College of Eloquence to use universal speech judiciously and not be a pain in the ass about it. Other than that, I don't see any real problem with either of these subclasses. But that one, again, I already have enough trouble voicing all the animals and plants that we come across, so just please stop. Don't make me voice a rock.
Listen, make it fun the first time, and then afterwards remind your players that a squirrel doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
That's right. Squirrel doesn't have any answers. Yeah. All right, what's our next subclass?
Okay, so there's been like a subclass every month. There's some for the sorcerer and warlock. This is the aberrant mind for the sorcerer, a sort of aberration and psionic themed class, and a lurker in the deep patron for warlock, like a kraken or an ancient primordial. Blech.
Well, okay, so
what are you thinking about this psionic sorcerer? It's like, are they never gonna do psionics if they're just fuck it, let's make a psionic sorcerer subclass?
That was one of the things that came to mind when I read this, is that they were just, we're not going to do psionics, we're just going to take the good ideas and slap them onto subclasses. It's
almost like my idea of just grafting psionic flavor onto the existing magic system is really the only way to fit it into 5th edition without adding a new rules subset, which they seem unwilling to do for probably good reason.
So I really like, and this is a consistent...
I wish you had recognized my genius, but whatever. You'll pay.
I've already praised your classes, Matt. I'm not going to do it every single time. Okay. I do like...
You could, though.
I do like... I've kept saying this. I like the flavor, right? This is... I like the flavor of the aberrant mind, right? A sorcerer with alien influence, right? Elder gods, but the kind that... give you mind powers and also sometimes tentacles. I can see this being the scion of a
tentacle-heavy set of subclasses.
It is. I can see this being an aboleth-related sorcerer or a scion of an aboleth. Actually, if I were going to run an aboleth game, I'd absolutely put some of these in there and have them serve the great creature. So I love the flavor. I'm not sure...
So you get bonus spells.
These
right?
are, yeah.
You get a thing that ups your AC, a la Dragon Sorcerer, and you can, cast some of your mental spells, which are mostly taken from the Warlock list,
right?
Cheaper,
very
you gain resistance
heavy,
to psychic damage. And eventually you can, transform your body. Again, similar to the Dragon Sorcerer. Mechanically, there was not anything that was super exciting to me. I was sort of hoping that they might lean in heavier to, the way the Celestial Sorcerer sort of breaks the Sorcerer by giving them healing spells in a fun way. And, we realize that's not that broken. I was hoping that, this one might... get some sort of feature where all their saving throws are intelligence based or something like that. That's obviously too powerful. Or, for example, they can cast their spells without speaking or something like that. Something that really distinguished them as being a mental based sorcerer.
Yeah, there's nothing mechanically here that really stands out. Some interesting stuff different from your regular sorcerer, but nothing truly unique. I like the idea behind Warp Reality, but it's just not very powerful. Their 18th level feature.
I'm gonna be honest, I never look at features on classes above like 16th level.
I know, but I feel like we should discuss them just in case. They're interesting. I know it's never gonna get seen in play, but it...
here's the thing about
here.
this.
Revelation in flesh,
Sure. The biggest thing they get is the best Warlock spells, right? Which are Arms of Hadar and Hunger of Hadar.
True.
And while I liked giving the Celestial Sorcerer the, bread and butter cleric spells of healing people, there's something about those, like, big Warlock nukes that I sort of wish would stay with the Warlock and keep it unique.
Yeah. So let's, it's good. I like it. It's not very powerful. It is sort of disappointing that this is what we get for Psionics, but I like the Aberrant Mind. Cool idea. I'm a fan.
Yeah. Lurker in the Deep, if, for example, you were going to run a Tremors-based one-shot, and you needed a patron for the evil Warlock entity that one of the NPCs served, this might be a good one if you replace the water things with earth things.
I mean, it's very tentacle-based, which I feel like with any group of nerds is a huge risk, and so I would be very concerned about presenting this subclass to anybody who has ever seen an anime ever, but I like the idea behind it, some of the abilities.
The Sahugin's wife.
There are some very cool ideas. You can summon a tentacle and a maw to eat people. It's good stuff. It's interesting. I think it's actually decently powerful.
I haven't watched it in forever, but if I remember correctly, the Warlock in Critical Role, patron is a Kraken, right? So it's like,
I think that's right. That's right. I think.
So here's the thing with Warlock. Warlock patrons are always good. There's so much room to play in the class that all of these things are very, very fun. I would throw this in my game right away.
There is a new cantrip as well in this.
Oh, I wanted to talk about this cantrip. Mind Sliver, right? Our first cantrip where opponents have to make an intelligence saving throw as opposed to any of the other 5. And it gives them a minor debuff on the next save. Pretty powerful cantrip.
Is it better than Firebolt?
Yes.
It is?
I would say yes.
Oh, you think it's better than Firebolt?
I would... Okay. In terms of raw damage...
Is it better than Eldritch Blast?
No. It's not better than Eldritch Blast in terms of raw damage. However, if you want to be a Warlock that partners up with your Wizard or Cleric, where later that round, they're going to cast a spell that requires a saving throw by a creature. It's a nice party-friendly Warlock spell.
I'm being a little flip about cantrips, but any cantrip that forces an intelligence saving throw is good because any beast or animal or even a lot of like magical beasts are going to be very, very bad at intelligence saving throws. So this is a useful thing to have.
I think this is, in fact, beyond useful and fixes one of the perceived bugs in the Warlock class, which is oftentimes they're casting their cantrip, Eldritch Blast, which is often the best move for them to do, and they're not interacting very much with the group in sort of combat situations.
Right.
This forces them to, in the way that they can set up fun combos by sort of debuffing saving throws for whenever the fighters bull rushing someone, or the cleric is casting a spell that requires a saving throw, the bard's casting charm person on them, etc., etc.
Yeah, it's a cool cantrip. I like it a lot. I was being flippant. I think a lot of people are just going to choose raw damage over this, but it is a much more interesting cantrip, and it allows a lot more interaction with the party. It is a good team player cantrip, and it's also just it's cool. It's neat. I think it allows for a different type of caster. So I hope that this makes it into official Wizards material because
we're
good.
Building up enough like Unearthed Arcana subclasses that it makes me wonder in the next 12 months if another Xanathar's style book is on the way, or if these are going to get folded into the Eberron source book coming at the end of the year. Who knows? Law and chaos, yin and yang, the barbarian and monk, last two subclasses.
That's right. The most chaotic and the most lawful of all of our base classes, together in a beautiful harmony. It's a shame. Well, it's not really a shame. It was annoying, but funny in an interesting way. All of the like really complicated rules around alignment that used to exist in previous editions, it's a lot easier now, but
you can finally be a chaos monk.
You can be a chaos monk, which is what we all always wanted. So what have we got for barbarian, Matt?
So again, we've talked about how it's difficult to use the barbarian as a playground for developing things because there's very little in their subclass, but the primal path of the wild soul is sort of a barbarian take on a little bit of sorcerer, right? But instead of really having control over your magic, right, it is just in you and manifests when you rage, which I have to say, flavor-wise, I absolutely love.
Pretty cool. I'm actually a big fan. I'll tell you the one thing I don't like is this is tied to the Feywild, which is not that interesting to me. But if you ignore that, I love the idea that you're a barbarian that is just full of uncontrollable magic energy. It is just super fucking cool.
If you ignore the little text saying this is how you got your powers and expand it and say, we're not going to tell you how to get your powers. Here are some suggestions. Some other fun suggestions might be you're an experiment to create a magical weapon that went wrong. A wizard cast a spell on you and it fucked up. Or, you
stood next to a wild sorcerer and got wild sorcerered. It's so cool. So the basic of this, so I actually really like this. I remember looking at this earlier. This is a cool ability. This also gives a barbarian some very, very useful utility, which they kind of lack. Not that anybody needs it quite so badly in 5th edition, but it lets the barbarian do some things outside of combat that are neat. You now can cast Detect Magic without spell slots or components, which is something that every party needs all the time. And you can use it
a fun flavor of when you use it, your body glows a color related to the school, which posits the theory that every school of magic has a color related to it, which I like.
Which is super cool. You can use it and it's based on Constitution. It's great. Also, and we have talked about how this is random effects or so.
This is where it drops the ball. God damn it. So fucking close.
When you rage, you wild surge. So one of 8 things can happen.
Which some of them may or may not be useful. Most of them will be.
Most of them are... Actually, none of them is... Is this correct? None of them is particularly bad, which is different than the Wild Sorcerer, which has a larger range of effects, and some of them are quite bad.
Some of them can be bad for your allies, right?
Yeah, some of them can be bad for your allies.
For example, one of them creates difficult terrain around you. I don't see any texts that say you ignore the difficult terrain or your allies do, so you might, in fact, get yourself stuck.
That's a pretty bad one.
There's
also bad. Necrotic energy bursts from you, and everybody in 30 feet takes 1d10 necrotic damage. Again, not critical, but probably not great. There's also one that teleports you.
At third level, could be bad.
Could be bad. There's also one that teleports you. Again, this is sort of fun, but also sort of annoying. Some of them are really you shoot a beam of light from your chest. I mean, this is fun stuff, but also I can just see this being more trouble than it's worth. And
here's what I would do if I had a player who wanted to play one of these in my campaign. I would say, all right, if I gave you all 8 of these at 3rd level, and every time you rage, you actually got to pick one, that might be a little too powerful. So I would say at 3rd level, pick 2. Every level after that, add a new one. And then you can choose which one you want to do. Right? Barbarians already get limited rages per day. It's not, I don't think, going to be overpowered.
The thing about random effects is I like them in theory, but you never know how they're going to work in gameplay. And that's kind of the thing, is that sometimes they may not be very fun at all. So it seems like it's more rolling, which is not great. And also it just introduces a random effect that might or might not be fun, and we wanted to try to maximize for fun. So
see, the thing about having players know what their stuff is going to do, not only does it allow them to sort of be more creative and tactical and all those things, it also takes up less time. Not only do you have to roll on the table, right? The player might not be exactly familiar with the effect because there's a lot of effects, and logically, statistically, you might not see an effect for a very long time, and you might forget exactly what it does. That's kind of annoying.
Yeah, that's annoying, and you got to keep referencing this table. Not great. I love, again,
it's not great.
For flavor-wise, I really like the 6th level ability, which allows you to channel your magic into another creature, and you give them a spell slot back. How cool is that? It's also, I think, unique to any D&D subclass. I don't think anybody else can restore spell slots very easily. So you're just so overflowing with magic that you can help your casters out. I think that's neat.
Yep.
You also take damage because you're a barbarian and everything is, based on you taking damage and you have tons of hit points. But that's also great. I like it. I just think it's neat. Arcane Rebuke, the 10th level ability, is also super cool. If you make a saving throw while you're raging, you just get to nuke somebody with your arcane energy. That's neat. I love it. Good flavor. I actually don't think this is I know we've complained a lot of the barbarian subclasses are weak. I don't think this is particularly weak. I think it sort of takes a different direction. It won't do as much damage as other subclasses, but it's powerful. It has options. The randomness is a issue, but generally I think it's good. I'm a fan.
I would play this, which is, I think, a rarity for me when they come out.
I was already thinking about how cool this would be and what sort of interesting characters I could build around this. This would be especially cool if you either multi-classed or took magical adept or something like that to be able to cast a few spells yourself. I think it's interesting. I'm a fan.
Yeah, I feel like they should have eventually at 10th level gotten a cantrip, but that's it, and fix the random thing. There are other ways to find random stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a broader tip. I want you to know what you think about this, Rob. Is randomness has a great place in Dungeons and Dragons. Randomness is in fact works very well when you give your players sort of a deck of many things, a rod of wonder. Right? Items or other things that have a random effect. Putting it into the sort of core package of what a player can do is usually bad. That's my thesis. Sticking to it.
I think that in limited, simple... I mean, the whole game is based on some element of randomness, so randomness isn't inherently...
Where are you getting that from? Yeah, so I think the idea is... The core mechanics of the classes are things players go to again and again to confront challenges. Whereas having a Rod of Wonder is like, well, shit, we don't know what to do. Let's try the Rod of Wonder. It could be useful.
Okay. I'm just saying, randomness isn't always inherently bad. You roll a die to do everything in this game, is all I'm saying. But I do think
some people roll dice. I don't
I do agree. I think I've always thought that the wild magic was the worst possible way to introduce a random element to the game. I have never liked the wild sorcerer. I don't love the wild magic part of this barbarian. There are other random elements that are not such a pain in the ass, but I don't have a lot of great examples of how this has been done well, so I have to probably agree with you. Not good as a core part of a class. All right, let's talk about the Way of the Astral Self.
What if I had a 3 Kree monk who already has 4 arms? I take the Astral Self. Do I gain 2 more arms or do I gain 4 more arms? This is a class about gaining arms.
This is a class about seeing how many arms you can have before you have too many arms. I mean, Matt, it seems pretty clear that you would have 8 total arms, 4 of them astral if you were Thrakeen.
Okay. You're Zenyatta ultimate all the time.
This is cool.
Embrace transcendence. Or
you use your wisdom, so it makes you a very single attribute dependent class, which is fun. I like. You can, not that you can really like stack stats the way you used to be able to, but you can sink a lot into wisdom and neglect some of your other stats and be a sort of like a well-rounded monk. I guess I'm not really seeing what the downside of these 10 feet arms are, I guess, except that you have to spend key points to summon them.
You have to spend 2 key points to summon them. They only last 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
So you can make a monk that is better than an average monk for 10 minutes. And depending on what level you are, like, for example, if you are 2nd level, you can do this for 10 minutes a day. If you're 4th level, you could do it 20 minutes a day. So
I feel like that this is going to be better than a regular monk most of the time. We know that there's a problem with encounters per day in Dungeons and Dragons, but realistically, I don't think that you're going to have more than 2 per session, and the monk is going to have this up most of the time. Do you think that's a problem?
I mean, I don't know. At low levels, this seems much, much weaker than the average monk. At high levels, it seems much stronger. So I don't know. I don't know if it's balanced or not.
I mean, I'm a big fan. I love that you can just like stand behind your ally and punch them with your ghost arms. I think that's super cool. I love that you were, using wisdom for everything. All the benefits that you get as at higher levels, which again come too high, but are very cool. I think this is very interesting. I worry that it is going to outshine a regular monk just because of encounter economy. But You're right, though. The 2 key points is a pretty high. That is a pretty high cost, and that means they can't flurry.
But for that, I mean, you get the bonus attack action every round.
Yeah.
You get wisdom in place of strength. I don't know if I like this play
It's a Nova
style.
monk, right? It's a Nova monk. It's meant to really, really excel in 1 combat a day, which is fine.
I think of all the classes we've talked about right now, this is the one that needs play testing the most. Actually.
Yeah.
So
I have questions about how this would play.
Once again, the flavor is here. If you want to be a monk that like serves the archons and have your arms be, giant angel wings that lash out at your enemies, fuck yeah, do it.
Fuck yeah, do it.
Or necrotic energy. You could be your angel monk, or I could
that's
be
the
your
other
devil
thing is
monk.
that they'll just like, not much is resistant to radiant or necrotic. That's pretty good.
Which is cool. Well, not much is resistant to physical damage.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I would like to see how this plays in game. I think it's neat. Again, it's fun. I would play this. I can think of all sorts of interesting astral monks to create. So, yeah, I'm for this.
The thing that made me sad is when I saw the sort of astral theme, right? I immediately think of astral projection, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get anything like that. You get an astral sight, which is just dark vision, but you don't get, for example, a chance to like pull, sit down and meditate, let your spirit leave your body and wander around or peer into another plane of existence, and that's a missed opportunity.
It is.
That's a non-combat thing, a fun thing the monk can do, part of the exploration part of the game, and what the fuck?
If you're gonna relate to the astral plane, give us some astral projection, please.
There is a spell you can use to balance this. It's called, Arcane Sight or Eldritch Eye or whatever, right? It's just give them that at the appropriate level, 1 time per day.
Cool. Otherwise, a missed opportunity. Let's see if they can polish this up and play test it a bit before it goes live. I think you're right, though. I think we're probably due for another book of subclasses. Another.
I'm jonesing for one.
Yeah, I think we're ready. I think they've been pushing a lot lately. Another. What was the last one?
Xanathar's has been the only subclass book.
You're right.
Though there were a couple in the Sword Coast thing.
You're right. Sorry, you're right. It is Xanathar's only. So another Xanathar's. I think we're ready. I think we're due.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Let the subclasses expand. Let the edition bloat.
Yes. Give us
the
bloat. We are ready for the bloat.
Let the players create broken combinations.
Surrender to the call of the Tome of Battle. Give us another Tome of Battle this time.
The Book of Nine Swords beckons adventurers. Okay.
D&D can never be reborn until it has died, and the only way to kill it is with the Tome of Battle. 2.0.
It's true. This is the only way an edition dies, is just to keep fusing things on top of it
until it buckles under the weight of its own just immensity,
like a
collapses.
Big Akira monster dude, right?
Yeah, Tetsuo just bulging and becoming increasingly grotesque under his own mass, powerful and yet uncontrollable. All right. Anyway, letters.
Tetsuo. Sorry. Okay, we're done. Hey, here's our first letter from Chandler. Hello. I'm a new date. Fuck that up. I'm a new DM with a new. Fuck. Hello, I'm a new DM with a party of new players. I have been running episodic one-shots with my new players to teach them the rules, learn how to tell stories as a group, and create permanent NPCs in my homebrew world. I want to run a longer campaign. My idea is not unique in that I want a big bad deity that needs to die. My plot point is that he rose to power a long time ago, was driven away by a group of heroes. The heroes decide that he would return and that they need to give their people a way to kill him permanently. In order to do this, they bound their power and souls to blades. I want the campaign to involve reawakening the power in the blades and killing the big bad with them. I need help building what the specific blade stats and personalities should be, as well as fun ways to reawaken their power. Thank you and keep rolling them dice. Chandler.
Well, Chandler, I'm not going to pull punches with you. You're right. That's not unique. However, we're willing to help you anyway. I don't have any problem with a campaign to kill God. It is what we all dream of, and the great stories is just a bunch of friends coming together to have adventures and kill God. So,
absolutely. If you have new players, fucking go for it, man.
Go for it.
Live your best life.
I'm not gonna talk out the specific blade stats. I think that the best way to do it would be to make each of them, in fact, a different weapon, rather than have them all be swords.
Item or something like that. Remember, not every player, for example, your spindly, sickly wizard is going to want a cool sword.
Right. I feel like if you're going to do this, you want to probably hand design one for each of your players, so that they have something that sort of aligns to them. Here's the twist that I would use on you.
Have them Voltron it together. No.
Is that to awaken them, they're going to have to do something that they don't want to do. The sword, perhaps, needs to be slaked by the blood of an innocent. You know, the diadem of power needs to, rest upon the head of somebody who has usurped a throne of a tyrant, right?
Yes.
So they can do these things.
Make them artifacts and make them have special rules.
Yeah. Some of them can be easy, but make some of them hard. Make some of them really difficult decisions. And depending on whether or not they choose to do these potentially evil or grim things, the final battle will be that much more difficult. So
they don't all have to be grim. They just have to be interesting.
Right. Feel free to just make them make a choice to awaken these items, right? Good or bad, hard or easy, but make it interesting, right? Make there be a choice involved.
If you sort of figure out after, you've played a couple one-shots with your players, and you can really make this this sort of cliche campaign. Again, nothing wrong with that. You can make that a very player-driven campaign, as once they learn what has to be done with one specific god-killing item, let them decide how they want to accomplish that.
Chandler, I think you're on the right track, and I think you've got a pretty good idea. It doesn't matter if it's unique. It's really not really about the uniqueness of the idea. It's how you implement it. So let us know what you come up with, and I think you're onto something. Come up with some cool ideas.
Rob, that's what dungeon masters who don't have very unique ideas say. It's not how unique your idea is. It's how you execute it. Yeah. If you have a unique idea, it's pretty great. So.
Yeah, sure.
So,
okay, Matt.
Good
Mr.
luck killing
unique ideas.
Good luck killing the evil god Etna.
That's right. Here's a good one. I got one already. You ready for this?
Okay.
All right, our next one is from David. David asks us, are you ready for a pretentious question? David, I have never been more ready for anything in my entire life. So yes, hit us with your pretentious question.
We have years of graduate school just for this.
just can a written RPG adventure, or module, as we called them in my day, rise to the level of art? Can it make you... Matt, I'm not done yet.
Sorry.
Not done yet. Can it make you feel empathy for an invented character? Can it create a feeling of transcendence or catharsis? Can the prose sing? Can the work be about more than plot mechanics? Can someone read it and be moved, even if they have no intention of ever playing an RPG? Can it do all or any of those things while also serving its function as a guide to playing an RPG game or campaign? Is any of this even worth trying? Best, David.
Oh, this is...
David, an excellent question.
This is a S-tier, God-tier question.
This is David, this might be the best question we have ever received. This is definitely a God-tier question. So, Matt, what do you think?
Okay. Here's the deal with art. A lot of it's really fucking boring. Here's a fun thing about humans is we gain utility, satisfaction, pleasure from lots of activities. One of those activities is play, be it sports, going out playing hoop and stick, just running a race with your friends, or sitting around singing songs together. Right? This is a universal human experience. I don't know. Is sitting around a campfire singing songs art? Kind of.
Well, David has asked an interesting question.
Play is, I think, I don't know. I think it's play. It's excellent play.
David has asked an interesting question.
But the written RPG adventure is another question.
He's asked an interesting question in that he's asked if, by itself, the module can be art and still be used for play. So, I'm going to go on a limb here, and I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that you could write a RPG campaign book or module that did rise to the level of art, that did have beautiful prose and did have compelling characters and did have, catharsis. But I would imagine that it would be some kind of experimental text, right? That it would take the appearance of an RPG book, but it wouldn't really be playable.
Right, like a novel where at the end of it, it tells you to go to different parts of the novel, and it's all jigsawed together, sort of choosing your own
sort of like choosing
adventure.
Fuck off.
The highest form of the novel.
I think that there could be a way for a particularly clever or talented person to make something that has the appearance of an RPG book, but isn't really playable, but that tells a story. I would think that it would take...
He's asking, is it art? As opposed to, can, a RPG adventure be artistic? Can it have
and so that was my next point.
I think those are different questions.
There are elements of every book that are artistic, right? There's, of course, the actual art, and much of the writing is quite impressive prose. But as a whole, I would not say that most RPG books are works of art. So... David, we have failed to answer your question. We have probably made a lot of people angry, and I'm happy with that. I think that's good, and I'm going to leave that here. Please write to us about how upset you are about our opinions, because I can't wait to become the Roger Ebert of D&D. and have everyone be mad at me for saying that RPGs are not art.
I've got a deeper question for you, Rob. Can an RPG module rise to the level of fart?
I'm not putting that in it. I'm not putting that in the podcast. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to our intelligent, pretentious conversation. I've been Rob.
I've been Matt.
Thank you for listening. If you have questions, please write us at dmofnone@gmail.com, add us on Twitter at dmofnone, and keep rolling them dice.